Hi, my name is Tucker Alexander, and this is my presentation on Octavia Butler. So who is Octavia Butler? Octavia Butler is an author. She was born in Pasadena, California on June 22nd, 1947. She was raised by a single mother after her father died when she was young. Her mom worked as a maid to support her hopes and dreams of going to college and one day becoming an author. After high school, she attended Pasadena Community College and California State University. In 1968, she received her Associate of Arts degree from Pasadena Community College and continued on to California State University. She went to study arts and science fiction. After leaving California State University, she studied at Screenwriters Guild Open Door for 1 year. It was from 1969 to 1970, where she took a class on science fiction from Harlan Edison. He was her teacher, and he was believed to be the guru of science fiction. She later died in 2006. Why is Octavia Butler famous? She's famous because she was one of the first successful African Americans in science fiction, and she's a woman. She was the author of many award-winning books. In 1980, she won the Creative Arts Award. In 1984, she won the Hugo Award for Best Short Story and the Nebula Award for Best Novelette. In 1985, she won the Science Fiction Chronicle Award, the Locus Award, and another Hugo Award. In 1995, she won the MacArthur Foundation Genius Grant. In 1999, she won the Nebula Award again for Parable of the Talents. In 2000, she was awarded the PEN America Center Lifetime of Achievement Award. In 2010, she was inducted into the Science Fiction Hall of Fame, and in 2012, she won the Solstice Award for Science Fiction and Fantasy Writers of America. Octavia Butler was able to bring a new perspective to literature. She was a woman, and she was one of the first pioneers in this genre. She became famous for her writing in the 1970s. The 1970s was an interesting time to be a famous young black woman. It had just gone through a lot of the civil rights movement, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, things like that, and the country was just beginning to recover from a lot of turmoil and racial wars. Butler had a very unique style of writing. She pushed boundaries. She talked about issues such as sex, race, power, and what it means to be human. In the 70s and 80s, especially as a young black woman, talking about things such as sex, race, and power was very taboo. It was scary, it provoked change, and it made people think about what could be. In her writing, she also uses dystopias. Dystopias is kind of a morphed image and definitely fits into the science fiction genre. She felt like her background equipped her to write these stories. She's quoted in an interview from the LA Times saying, "I'm black, I'm solitary, and I've always been an outsider." In her book, Parable of the Sower, that we're reading for class, she uses dystopias to describe the main character, Lauren, and her hyper-empathy syndrome. We will now watch a short clip about Butler talking about her writing, showing her humor, and talking about politics and how politicians are not helping inspire change in America during this time period.
I think really, though, one of the things we were doing with the space race, and I was an avid spectator, but one of the things we were doing was having a nuclear war without having one. We managed to get the perks of war technologically, and we managed to compete, and we managed not to wipe each other out. I wonder really if the guy shooting the gun at New Year's is a greater problem than the ignorant politician who can do a lot more harm.
Unless that bullet comes down and penetrates his skull.
Would you like?
In class, we are reading Parable of the Sower by Octavia Butler, and for this project, I will be analyzing chapter 15 through 25, or the end of the book. In this book, the particular section that I'm analyzing takes place August 1st, 2027 through October 10th, 2027. So some main points to summarize. After Lauren loses her family, she becomes allies with Harry and Zara, and they begin to travel north. She wants to spread the love through her poems and her new religion, Earthseed. She believes that God is change instead of God being the cause of change. She wants her followers to recognize that change and use it as a survival method. She eventually wants to expand her religion to outer space and help extraterrestrial communities. Because of her hyper-empathy syndrome, she begins to help people along the way instead of being selfishly focused on her own survival. But then she defends a mixed-race family and kills an attack dog to save them. A quote that I particularly liked was on page 201. It goes, "I lay down. Remember last night, I said? If you care about her at all, you'll want her to live. Remember last night. He didn't answer. I hope I had surprised him. I hope I had also embarrassed him. And maybe I had made him feel angry and defensive. Whatever I'd done, I didn't hear any more snoring. This kind of represents a turning point for Lauren, where she lets her hyper-empathy take the back burner, even though it never really takes the back burner in the book. She begins to start focusing on her own survival and the survival of those around her. So while she is still helping others, she is focused on the main goal, which is getting out and making it north. After meeting Harry and Zara, she also slits a man's throat because she knows that he's suffering and that he could potentially be a threat to them. Doing this hurts her immensely. She falls to the ground. She's withering in pain, but this also starts to represent the turning point of her, because she's making sure that the people around her are safe and that she's safe. And the only way she can do that is by staying alive. So continuing my analysis, the group then meets Banquo when he helps them save Jill and Annie, who are sisters, from the rubble that's left after an earthquake. Lauren and Banquo then become romantic, even though there is a large age difference, and I think this age difference is part of the reason why they did become romantic. She's attracted to his maturity and his love and his willingness to live and his knowledge about life. She discovers that Banquo has a lot of property in Northern California. He actually has 300 acres. She gets Jill and Annie to believe in Earthseed, and the group continues to travel north. Along the way, Annie adopts an orphan named Justin. Continuing, Earthseed meets 4 more people: Emery, Tori, Grayson, and Joe. Interesting fact about these 4 people is that they all have hyperempathy syndrome, the same thing that Lauren suffers from. As they are traveling, they walk past another fire set by crazy drug addicts. These drug addicts appear a few times in the book, kind of to start a riot. It is illegal to make fires because they can spread, causing damage, but that is the main goal of these crazy drug addicts. So finally, they make it to Banquo's property in Northern California, and they all decide to stay and build a community using Earthseed as a foundation. In the end of the book, they have a ceremony to honor all the loved ones they've lost along this crazy journey by sharing Bible verses, Earthseed poems, literature, and good memories about their loved ones. They bury those that they have lost and plant oak trees in their honor. They then decide to call this new community Acorn. And that's the end. I hope you all enjoyed my analysis of Octavia Butler's life, our book Parable of the Sower, chapters 15 through 25, and I will see you all in the next voice thread. I got my sources from octaviabutler.org, www.biography.com/octaviabutler. I pulled the clip from YouTube, and I also got quotes from her from the New York and LA Times. See y'all soon!